Cyber criminals rarely fit the Hollywood stereotypes, only targeting governments and big banks. The reality is they are mostly opportunistic, using scattergun techniques like phishing to exploit avoidable weaknesses in people. And their intent is rarely world domination. It's usually to get their hands on anything they can turn into money, and your data, or company data, will do nicely. Don't underestimate them. Cyber criminals are continuously upping their game by sharing information and refining their tactics. That's why it's so important for companies like Brookshire Brothers to up their game and review their defenses. Our company's best defense is for our employees to be knowledgeable and educated about phishing attacks and how to detect, prevent, and avoid them. The problem is phishing scams today are more convincing and more sophisticated, making it easier to fool unsuspecting business owners and their employees into giving away sensitive information that could be harmful to their business, damaging to reputations, or embarrassing. What is phishing, and what is the scammer's goal? Phishing is a form of social engineering, like when a scammer uses fraudulent emails or text or copycat websites to get you to share valuable personal or company information, such as account numbers, social security numbers, or your login IDs and passwords. Scammers use your information to steal your money and your information and your identity. Scammers also use phishing emails to get access to your computer or network. They then install malicious programs like keystroke loggers or ransomware that could lock you out of important files on your computer until you pay a ransom to get them back. Phishing scammers also rely on human emotions like fear or greed to perpetuate their fraud. They make it seem like they need your information or someone else's quickly or something bad will happen. They might say your account will be frozen, your boss will get mad, even that a family member or employee you work with will be hurt, or you could be arrested. They tell lies to get you to give them information. Another common tactic is to play to the victim's desires, like promises of money or other benefits from strange emails that are often too good to be true. There are also other named types of phishing attacks, which include vishing, which is phishing or social engineering over the telephone or other types of voice channels. An example of this in our retail stores would be phone scams that attempt to send money through Western Union, or to purchase gift cards, or even to gain access to your computer by asking you to go to your computer and type in what they tell you in order to fix a problem. Smishing is phishing or social engineering over text or instant message. Whale phishing is phishing that targets executives, privileged users, and wealthy individuals. And then there is spear phishing, which targets a specific individual, organization, or group, typically through email. According to Wombat Security's 2016 State of the Fish report, 4 out of 5 organizations have experienced phishing attacks, and the frequency of those attacks continues to rise. Up until now, Brookshire Brothers has not been a victim of a phishing attack, and we want to keep it that way. However, if we were, it might look something like this in the news.
Phishing attacks. Companies everywhere are finding themselves the targets of growing numbers of hackers and criminals. By falling victim to social engineering, tricks, and techniques, employees at all levels within organizations are exposing their businesses to loss of critical data and customer information. Brookshire Brothers recently became the latest local retailer to succumb to one of these attacks. With us today is Sally Alvis, a Brookshire Brothers representative, to give us more information on what happened. Thank you for joining us tonight, Sally. Can you tell us what happened and how serious was this attack?
Well, Dave, every attack is a serious one when outside entities are able to gain access to important company information. In this particular case, an employee who had access to our company network and systems was targeted, and that gave the perpetrators an entry point to our larger operations network.
Now, is it clear exactly what the employee did that began this whole issue?
Yes, the employee opened an unknown attachment in an email from an outside source. The employee said it looked like it was something from their immediate supervisor, so they rushed to follow the instructions to comply with the request. The employee downloaded what turned out to be some malicious software that first infected their computer and then spread to the rest of the company's network. The employee should have paid a bit more attention to the source of that email and noticed if it was different from other emails received from their supervisor. Also, the attachment that was sent was an unusual file type that had never been seen before. Fortunately, we have been able to take all the necessary actions to prevent further loss, and we limited how much sensitive information was compromised.
So in the end, what was the outcome for this employee?
It is always important for each employee to understand Brookshire Brothers' policy when it comes to email use and internet security. Now, since this employee failed to pay attention to the information received in the email, they are now facing disciplinary action and could even face termination depending on the seriousness of the breach.
We hope by bringing these unfortunate events to everyone's attention that it will help stress the dangers of phishing attacks. Thank you for your time, Sally.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, to give us some tips on what you can do to avoid being hooked in a phishing attack, we have an expert on internet security with us here tonight. Welcome to the program, Mr. Burgundy.
Thank you for having me.
As we just heard, phishing attacks are a serious growing concern. So what can individuals do to help avoid incoming attacks?
It does not take much to keep yourself and your company safe from phishing attacks. Simply following a few key rules when dealing with voice and electronic communications is all that is necessary. First, trust your instincts. Common sense is your best protection. If an email, phone call, or online message seems odd, suspicious, or too good to be true, it could be some form of attack. Second, always stop and think before you click. When an email contains an attachment, take a moment and think about the source of the attachment. Pay attention to the attachment file type. Many unrecognized file types can contain code that can execute functions and install malware and viruses. If you are unsure, stay safe and verify with a supervisor. Third, don't trust links sent in email messages. A common method cybercriminals use to hack into people's computers is to send emails with malicious links. People are tricked into opening these links because they appear to come from someone they know and trust. Modern email clients allow for easy identification of a link. When you hover over a link, a pop-up will show the destination of that link. Verification will help prevent users from clicking on misleading hyperlinks. If you click on a link, you may be taken to a site that attempts to harvest your information or tries to exploit vulnerability on your computer. Only click on links that you were expecting. Not sure about an email? Call the person to confirm they sent it. Fourth, never give out personal information. Personal information in the hands of a hacker or criminal is a dangerous tool. Not only can personal information about employees be used in activities such as identity theft, but personal information can be used in phishing attacks. Use of personal information makes it easier for criminals to gain the trust of other employees. For example, if an employee gives out over the phone the schedule of another employee or mentions in an email that they will be on vacation, hackers may be able to use those details to make a scam more believable. Fifth, check the source of information. Don't believe something just because of where it appears to come from. Many phishing attacks will use names and emails that are familiar and similar to what their targets are used to seeing. Email domains that look nearly identical to legitimate domains can easily be obtained by hackers. These domains can then be used to send emails to employees. For example, an email with rcook@brookshireb.net could easily be confused with the email rcook@brookshirebros.com. So always check where something is coming from. If unsure, always contact the person via an alternative method, such as by phone. Lastly, when something doesn't seem right, notify the proper people. if asked to do something outside of normal operations, should that be to provide information, reporting, or do anything that bypasses network and business security, notify your supervisor, and if applicable, an information security officer. If these steps are followed, then businesses and individuals can minimize their risk and keep themselves from being easy targets for phishing attacks.
Thank you, Mr. Burgundy, for that information on how all of us can protect ourselves against phishing attacks.
My pleasure, Dave.
Up next, we have meteorologist Sunny Rains with her Weekend Outlook update.
After watching this training module, we hope you have a better understanding of what phishing is all about and how to detect and prevent an attack from happening that could cause harm to either yourself personally or while you are at work on the Brookshire Brothers network and systems. Remember, trust your instincts and think before you click. Now you will be redirected to a phishing quiz to see what you have learned.